Take 7. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about stuff and things, I wanted to talk about why I think that Naked and Afraid Last One Standing Season 2 should have had a reunion. I specifically have 15 reasons why. Now, before I continue, link below are some surveys. Please fill those out if you haven't already. There's the Last One Standing Season 2 survey, the Largados y Pilatos XL survey, and I have come up with some Naked and Afraid superlatives. Right now, we're in the nomination phase where I have the different categories and you can list off who you think should be nominated. So please fill those out if they are still available. If not, I apologize. But now onto the video. While the XL reunions haven't had the viewership needed to continue, I think that Last One Standing reunions are a very viable option, and let me give you 15 reasons why. Reason number 15, we could have Jake Nodar as the host because he's very charismatic, probably one of the most charismatic of the franchise, and he would be really funny and add quite a bit of humor, and I'm sure his promotion for the trailer for the reunion would be hilarious. So I think it'd be great to see him come back because he has said in the past that he will not be doing another challenge. Although he has hinted he might do a Last One Standing because of the money, but he has also said he's retired. But survivalists, when they say they retire, I don't believe them. Rule number 1, the survivalists lie, especially about retiring. I think Melissa Millers and Jake Nodar are the only people I believe who have retired. Everyone else who said they've retired either want to come back now or have come back, so we'll see. Reason number 14, we can hear Russell talk about his journey from his start of Naked and Afraid till now and his thoughts about him losing his rope and unfortunately losing the challenge and going home first. And reason number 13 is Lacey can talk about also going home first and how she was so close. At least we were shown her being really close. I don't know if there was maybe 20-30 seconds between her and Danny, but we could hear about her journey and how she fought to the end to try to get her spot in the challenge, but unfortunately came up a little bit short. Reason number 12, we could hear about Kate and her decision to leave the challenge and also her decision to take her supplies with her and seeing if she just wanted to do it because she saw Jeff and Patrick being really good friends and felt she was a little bit outcasted in her own group, or if she was just like, well, I'm going to take them with me. And she may not even be at the reunion just for her own peace of mind because the fans weren't really nice to her before, during, and after the challenge. So I could see her maybe leaving a note, but it would be great to hear from her and hear about her future endeavors because she does teach survival and is a good survivalist. It's just the Naked and Afraid brand might not be for her, but she's still a good survivalist. And then reason number 11, we could hear Lindsay's thought about not making the trade for getting replaced in the elimination challenge for her bow. And even if that was a viable option, it would be great to hear from production if that would have even been allowed, because it would have been hilarious if Jeff was saying, hey, Lindsay, I'll trade you the bow for your spot in the elimination challenge. So I'll be up for elimination. You get to be safe. You just give me the bow. And if Lindsay would have been like, heck yeah, I'll do that. And production's like, nope, you lose your bow. You still have to compete in the elimination challenge and you've lost the respect of your fellow survivalists. So it'd be interesting to see if she regretted that, if she was happy with her decision. And we could hear about her thoughts on Jeff even offering that to her and not Gary. And then reason number 10, we could hear Bulent and his thought process through the challenge, because that first challenge he was second to last and was almost eliminated, but managed to get all the scrolls needed. But then we just saw his energy kind of declining slowly throughout the challenge, and we saw him struggling a lot. So it'd be great to hear from him about that. Also, he could talk about the GoFundMe for his home that was destroyed during the hurricane and where people can donate for that. And it would be great to hear from him and see what kind of challenge he would want to do next. Reason number 9, we can hear from Darren, because Darren was the front runner. He did so well during the challenges. He got first in the first part of the first elimination challenge with the cutting of the rope with the rock. He got first in the catfish challenge, but then he injured himself and had to be pulled from the challenge. So it'd be great to hear his thoughts about the other competitors and how far he may have gotten. in the challenge if he had not hurt himself. So it'd be great to hear from him from that. And then reason number 8, we could hear about Trish and her friendship with Jeff, her rivalry with Dan that seemed very one-sided, her approach to the challenge since she did compete with a broken finger, I believe re-broken finger, because she didn't tell anyone because she didn't want that to jeopardize her placement in the competition, and hearing about her kind of shady moments. Reason number 7, we could hear about Danny, and she was involved in a lot of drama, and it would be great to, hear her talking about the difference between vegetarianism and veganism, and how maybe she may be vegan off the challenge but turned to vegetarianism for the challenge because she needed protein, what she maybe would have done differently in terms of getting food because there wasn't really a lot of food around for her. And she could clarify that she did share the eggs with her teammates. She just wanted to hide them from all the other competitors. She could clarify that she did give her supplies to Dan, but she may have wanted to give them to Fernando and Gary, but she did not communicate that to Dan. And she did tell Dan that he could have her stuff. And so it would be great to see that clarification because she did clarify it online, but at least it could be introduced to a larger audience. She could talk about her thoughts on if she felt that she was a little bit responsible for Gary's mansion by the lake because she kind of egged him on a little bit. She could talk about her approach to the challenge and also how her holding on to the knives were probably some of the biggest drama of the season. So it'd be great to hear from her and her thought process in that. I know I'm being a little bit shady about this, but she was kind of shady. But was she being shady? Who knows? Reason number 6, we could hear from Patrick, the Legend Slayer, and how he had his friendly rivalry with Jeff and how it was more friendly than what was shown. We could hear about him fighting with Gary and his thoughts on that. We could hear about him having some of the least amount of days on challenges. He only did 2 21-day challenges and how he managed to get top 6 on a really tough survival competition and what his plans are for the future on what kind of challenges he would really want to do and if he would compete again. Reason number 5, we could hear from Gary, who has the title of an episode named after him from the season, and we could hear him talk about all the drama that he was kind of involved in and how his thoughts on Patrick not really wanting to share the kudu. And we could hear about how he tried really hard but unfortunately was eliminated on the same challenge he was the previous year, but this time he was a lot closer because on season 1 he tapped out due to exhaustion, and this time he just was 4th to 6th in the challenge, and that means he was eliminated. So Gary also brought a lot of drama and charisma to the season, so it'd be great to hear more of his thoughts on why he does what he does and how he's able to have so much energy. And then reason number 4, we can hear from Jeff, probably one of the biggest personalities of the season, at least in terms of being on reality TV. And we could hear about his strategies and what was it like basically pulling a Matt this season and, trying to help and share and all that jazz, and how the penultimate episode of the season was kind of based around him and his success because he won the water boiling challenge. He got all of Gary's items. He got the Impala and he was riding a high, and then how that unfortunately came crashing down when he got 4th to 6th on the fire starting challenge and he wasn't able to do it again, and his thought process behind that and what his future endeavors are because he's been traveling a lot. So it'd be cool to hear about that. And we could also hear about his friendly rivalry with Patrick and also his rivalry with Dan, and how he was able to plant all those seeds throughout the season and sway the audience with his charisma and all that good stuff. And then reason number 3, we could hear about Fernando and how now, does he believe now he's more than just a family man with the van, and how he is very talented and he managed to get to the top 3 and he did a really good job, and how he felt about Danny withholding the knives that kept him from having food, and if he feels that his partnership with Danny this time around was different from the Baskin and Bullet Ants episode, and Fernando can, be the wonderful cinnamon roll he always has been and has one of the nicest personalities of Naked and Afraid, and how he's the most likable and everyone can cheer about how amazing he is, and also get the reward for Congeniality of the season and hopefully get a cash prize for that, because it would be great to give some of these survivalists more money. Reason number 2 is we could talk to Kai, and Kai is probably one of the best survivalists and one of the most skilled survivalists and one of the most successful survivalists to come from the show, because she is on WikiHow, I believe, now as a survival expert. She can talk about how her being a stuntswoman translated to her being on TV for a survival challenge. She was on the original season. She was on season 1 of Naked and Afraid, and she could talk about her journey and how she has grown. And she only did 14 and 21 day challenges preceding Last One Standing. So what were her thoughts on the fact that she would have to complete 45 days and complete all those challenges to make it to the end, and her thought process on that, and how confident she was on all the challenges. And she could talk about the book she's written, and she could talk about other endeavors that she's doing, and it would be great to hear from her from that. And reason number 1, Dan Link. I mean, what else do you have to say about that? He's one of my favorite survivalists. I mean, when I was doing my podcast about Naked and Afraid, and I was talking to my co-host Avery about it, I was just like, I'm not really a fan of Last One Standing season 1, but Waz and Dan are really cool because Waz has an accent and Dan is a marine biologist. And Dan went from a fan challenge to a 21-day challenge in which his partner tapped day 4, but he managed to do it on his own. Fun fact, Dan Link's 21-day challenge was nominated for an Emmy, so that's really cool. And then he was doing a 40-day challenge, but was like, I'll just make it 60 because I can do that. And he's very adaptable. He's really good at these challenges. He has gone through a lot on these challenges with partners tapping, but he doesn't even really seem to sweat. He's just, with his massive calves, just running on through, just doing his thing. And he went from runner-up season 1 to the winner of season 2, and his thoughts on that. And also we could hear about Kai being this close to winning, but unfortunately her pyre was not set on fire. And we could also hear about Dan's conservation work. And so it'd be great to, see him talk about winning and future endeavors as well. And if he wants to come back, if he wants to mentor, if he would want to compete again, maybe on an all-winner season, because they're cranking out these Last One Standing seasons year after year. So I think after 10 years, he could come back for an all-winners, unless they have like 2 a year, but who knows? So those are the 15 reasons why we should have a Last One Standing season 2 reunion. There'd be lots of fights. Oh, and Dan could also talk about his one-sided rivalry with Trish, and Jeff and Trish calling him sticky fingers, even though no one else really said anything about that. And so there could be some drama, and it'd be great to watch. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and, comment nice things, please. And so, yeah, and click the next video if it's mine. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day/night. Bye-bye.